Now let's get into the question that I got. How do you learn German without mixing English or without messing up your English? So you will get to a point where your German will be so dominant as it is in my brain right now that there's even some phrases that I have to struggle to think and say that in English. Like, ich bin gespannt, wie das läuft. Even now, my mind is blocked and I'm an interpreter. I don't know how to say that in English currently. I probably, when I switch up the camera, I'll remember how to say it. But things that have helped me in maintaining my English language is what I'm going to tell you now, the tips, okay? And I think some of them are also general tips. Why it worked for me is, why I'm going to say that even if you are going to learn English and German as an adult, it will work for you as well, is because I came to Germany when I was 12, and that was when my English language was set. You know, I went to school in Ghana, so Ghana's official language is English. And when I came to Germany, I knew that if I don't take care, I will lose English. I knew that at that time. So it was a conscious decision I made. And that is why I can tell you proud, like I can just beat my chest and say, I was able to do it and you can do it as well. That's one thing. And I don't only speak English. I think most Africans, we are automatically bilingual. I don't only speak English. I speak Fanti, I speak Ebe, I speak Chi, and also some Okwani. That is like a sub-dialect of Igbo as well. So that is that. Okay. Now, when I made up my mind to learn German, or when I was forced to learn German, I knew I wanted to maintain my English language as well. So what I would do was that, because the German language is the language that is around me, I actually purposely set out times that I would immerse myself in the English language, okay? I would immerse myself in the language, as in with books. And I still do that. So currently, I have English books that I read. And I also read German stuff as well, because I work in German, you know. So for example, when I have like, I think I'll just, for example, this magazine is in German and it's on a different level because I work as an interpreter in court. So I need this type of law articles, you know, to explain things to me. And also that is my field of work. So when it comes to work, I try to up my game with specific German articles. But I think you can start doing that when you are like at B2, C1 in German, okay? But if you are now learning German, I would say that read easier books in German and then maintain your level of English with books like this, okay, like with novels or something like that, so that you keep staying fluent in it and you can still write. And the syntax, because German syntax and English syntax are totally different, but if you want to maintain them, you have to keep the English syntax in your mind by reading. Also, one tip I would give is when you're watching movies, right, in the beginning, listen to it in German and read in English according to what your strength or weakness is. For me, it was more important to me to hear how German sounds and how colloquial and how regular German sounds. And then if I didn't understand it, I'll read it in English, I'd be like, so I could place them, because I already know how English sounds, but I didn't know how to move my mouth in German. That was why. But if you don't know how to write and spell stuff in German, then I would recommend you do German speech, German subtitles, or you do English speech, German subtitles or something. So know which combination works for you. Also, you can, when you are someone who listens to the news or reads the news, you can do the morning ones in German, because usually in the morning they are slower, I think, because that's what I do. So you can listen to the German news, and in the afternoon you listen to it in English. And the best place to do that is DW. So DW will give you the context in German and the same context in English as well. So you know which phrase is what, or welcher englischer Begriff entspricht dem deutschen Begriff, you know. For example, I remember last week when they were talking about the blast and everything, there was a word that I didn't know in German, but you know, if you in German, once you have the basics and they drop a word, you can actually like separate them and understand what the context could mean, you know. But in English, if you don't know what they mean or what the word is, it's really hard to decipher the meaning. Let me just give you the example. So the word in English was Druckwelle, and they were talking about the blast, right? Obviously, the blast had happened in a certain country, and I was listening to it in German. They said die Druckwelle, something die Druckwelle. I was like, Druckwelle. So it means that the pressure wave. Okay, so I understood it in German, but then to know the specific English word, you would just go ahead and, you know, open the dictionary, and then it was like pressure wave. See, pressure wave, or the blast, or the shock wave. So when you listen to the same news in the afternoon where they're doing the recap, you can get that. Another thing that I do these days is that I have my German speaking group and my English speaking group. So at some point when I wanted my German to get better, I spent more time with my German speaking group, and now that I feel okay, I kind of, yeah, mix them as I please. But for example, if you know that every weekend you meet your English speaking group, then please make sure that Monday to Friday you are speaking only German. You have to compartmentalize. Yes, you have to compartmentalize your language days as well. And so don't just make it only German, but maybe do 5 days German, because this is where you have to work on. That's what you have to work on. But then on the other side, you do the English one. You get it? So keep the English coming in as much as possible. I talked about bilingual news listening, but you can also do bilingual news reading as well. So you look for an article and a similar one in German, so you know how they work together. And you can also use English to learn German. So the way I'm using German to remember my English, you can do it the other way around. So you use the English, you read English, and then you read it in German, and then you kind of like learn it like off head, like you just, you know, memorize it, and it will work as well. So then you always have the connections between the two languages. I hope this helps. So don't. And oh yes, another thing is, one thing I did when I started content creation was, if you've noticed, I usually try to speak only English when I'm making content. So people initially even thought that I couldn't speak German at all. That was how good I was in the beginning. But now my German group is creeping in more. So I also have to be very careful to keep English, and keep German, okay? Yeah, but obviously the news that I bring to you, I read them in German. So I translate it in my head and I bring it to you. That is why sometimes, because the material I worked with was German, bringing it to you in English, for me, it's also a way of keeping my English alive. But you have to be strict and say, when I'm speaking English with these people, I'm speaking English with these people. Discipline yourself, and that also works. Yeah. So I guess that would be the tip that I can give you if you want to maintain German. If you want to maintain your English language as you're learning German, take it easy with yourself, okay? The fact that you are just